Welcome to the Grit Podcast.
Welcome to the Grit Podcast, the podcast that motivates and encourages you to become the real man you're destined to be. Broadcasting live in the rugged Northwest, just east of the trailblazing city of Portland. So let's get locked and loaded, because it's time to get gritty with it. Here's your host and lead grit man, Jamie Worley.
Well, welcome everybody to the Grit Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Worley. Hey, listen, there are times when it seems like don't know about you, but it just seems like I'm just floating through life one day at a time, one work day at a time, one paycheck at a time. And we are, and there's nothing wrong with that, not completely. We call it being responsible, and responsibility is typically found in some sort of solid daily routine, right? But notice I said it seems like I'm floating through life. Floating through life means you have no purposeful direction, and that any direction you're actually going in is being directed by someone or something else. And you aren't resisting it at all. You're just floating through it like a leaf in a river. You have little to no say as to what you're doing on a daily basis and where you're going. And that typically means your why has lost its value. My brothers, this should not be the case. So whether you are operating on a daily basis with purposeful direction, or whether you're needing some sort of change in your life, we all want to have greater success. Every one of us want greater success. So today I'm starting a brand new series called Setting the Pace for Success. There are so many formulas out there for success, aren't there? How many books, videos, podcasts, and blogs on this subject are out there at your disposal to consume? There are countless opportunities to learn more about these things. But one thing I noticed, of all the formulas out there, I haven't found one that addresses one particular variable, and that's the variable I'm going to address with you, and that is the variable of pace. Everyone wants the get-rich-now pace, the immediate gratification pace. You know, the pace that requires working hard for a short time to acquire financial wealth for a long time. The kind of pace that allows you to work 2 days a week and chill the other 4 or 6 or 5 and live like a king. So many people have great advice on how to succeed, but where's the discussion on the pace in which you are moving about in your life? You know, I love to travel. I've been to many places over the course of my life. Road trips are my absolute favorite, especially with my family. Flying is great, but I love to drive. There's just something about driving I absolutely love. So when I'm planning a trip, I have to consider how I'm going to get there, how much is it going to cost, etc. I also have to consider the pace at which I'll be traveling. I need to know how far I can go in one day. Depending on the time of day, whether it's a city or a rural area, where the hotels are located, all of these variables must be calculated when I'm planning a trip. We do it all the time, don't we, when planning a trip? Yet many times we neglect the variable of pace when planning out our journey to success. So let's jump headfirst into this. Let's talk about PACE. I've come up with an acronym for the word PACE. P.A.C.E, performance, attitude, consistency, and evaluation. Now, dialing in your performance, adjusting your attitude, remaining consistent, and honestly evaluating your progress are the key ingredients to developing the pace at which you operate and developing great efficiency along the way. Therefore, placing yourself on the projected path that's going to lead you to great success. P.A.C.E, performance, attitude, consistency, and evaluation. Let's talk about performance really quick. How do I maximize my performance both personally and professionally? How do I become better at whatever task is at hand? How do I become a better person and minimize my destructive weaknesses? How do I become the best that I can be at what I'm doing? Well, the answer to this is you must leap. Leaping means that you forcefully launch forward. No one leaps backwards, at least no one you need to be hanging out with, okay? Leaping is always forward, is always with purpose, and is always with the intention of landing somewhere favorable. And for our purposes, and you guys know I like acronyms, L.E.A.P, LEAP, stands for 4 things. The L is what we're going to talk about today in LEAP when it comes to performance. L stands for lean into your strengths. You see, guys have a tendency to operate in one of 2 ways. They'll either try to focus on their weaknesses to overcome them, or they simply pretend their weaknesses don't exist. Both are wrong. If you try to focus on your weaknesses too much, a lot of your time and energy could be spent on succeeding, but it's spent on your weaknesses. So you're wasting your time for the most part. For those who pretend their weaknesses don't exist at all, sweeping them under the proverbial rug, end up tripping over them and wondering how it all came crashing down. After cleaning up the mess, they continue pretending, hoping they'll avoid the Lego pieces on the kitchen floor as they walk about barefoot in the dark, at least until the next time they run into it. But leaning heavily into your strengths and at the same time being aware of your weaknesses will maximize your daily performance. Why? Because you're intensely focused on what you're good at, what you're passionate about, what your strengths are, and at the same time you're merely aware, not spending time and energy on the weaknesses, but just aware of those weaknesses. In Oregon, out here where I live, out near Mount Hood, there are some sketchy roads, especially when you're driving through these rural areas. There are curves all over the place, trees galore, guardrails everywhere. Can you imagine needing to navigate through some of these pretty crazy curves and keeping your eyes, for the most part, focused on the guardrails? No, that's insane. Why? What could happen? We'd crash into the guardrails. Why? Because we were expending too much time and attention on them. Where should nearly all of my focus be? Should be on the road. This produces safety and success. You will drive in the direction of whatever your eyes are focused on. Another byproduct of leaning into your strengths is that your hesitations, your fears, and your doubts, they will lose their power over you. Some of you are terrified of failing, so terrified that you simply don't try. Stop trying to overcome your fears. You heard me right. Stop trying to overcome your fears. Okay, then how do I overcome my fears? By not focusing on them. Focus on your strengths. Focus on what you're good at. Lean into your strengths, and you'll find that you'll move past those fears, and in most cases, effortlessly. And that's when you get a true glimpse of what your fears actually really are. Powerless. When it comes to your performance, your level of efficiency and your level of success will depend on your intentionality to lean into your strengths. What are you good at? What are you talented at doing? Are you spending the majority of your time leaning into those things, striving to perfect your talents and strengths? Or are you wasting your time by focusing on your weaknesses, even if it's trying to strengthen them? Now, wait a minute, Jamie. Is it really a waste of time to try and strengthen the places where I'm weak? Well, it's not a total waste of time, but I believe it's time that could be better spent on your strengths, and that would take you even farther, faster. Everyone has weaknesses, and even if you strengthen one of your weaknesses, you will continue to have other weaknesses. You will never, get this, listen, you will never achieve a no weakness status. Ever. You will always have weaknesses. My son and I are getting ready to start a exercise program to get in incredible shape before we go to the beach. He wants to focus on getting abs. That's his weak area. So he said he wanted to do a ton of sit-ups. Well, I wanted him to focus on his weaknesses, right? No. I redirected him to a solid core exercise, push-ups. Push-ups work your pecs, your shoulders, your triceps, your forearms, your back, and your abs. His strength is in his legs and his chest. That's his chest. That's the strong. But focusing on the byproduct of the push-ups is he will develop his abs along the way and will benefit him in a holistic approach. This approach takes wisdom, guys. Leaning into your strengths is a wise piece of advice. Grab a legal pad and a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever, get alone, and think about what your strengths are. Not all your strengths, just your main ones. Make a decision to lean into those strengths. Work on perfecting them and excelling in them. If you do, you will be well on your way to pacing yourself for success. The L in lean is leaning into your strengths. Next time, we'll go a little bit deeper into performance, and we'll talk about the E in lean. Until then, stay gritty, my friends. We'll see you next time.